truck. So that tells us there's Cummins horsepower underneath the hood of this truck. So we did see the Power Stroke earlier, Nathan Vague. So this is it here for Clayton. Got to make it happen this time around. This is what's going to go down in the record book for him. 337.86. That's what he's got to beat. All right, well, he was able to make his run here tonight, but unfortunately not what he was looking for. But he'll take that over his 139 that he had previous to that. But the 97 Ford F350 here tonight. Once again, just over our halfway point of our Pro Stock class, 7,800-pound class. Sometimes referred to as the 3.6 class. And looks like we may be looking for a tow tractor down there. So looks like 294 even here. We'll see on the replay, 294 even for Clayton Johnson. We saw just a little bit of hop right there. We see some of the water out of that box out the front. Of course, they'll pack it with about 10 or so pounds of ice. What that does, it cools that inlet air going to that turbocharger, makes that air more dense. And we've seen on some of the vehicles, drop 60, 70 degrees. As we'll bring out, we got last night's winner making his way out on the track right now, Carl Ankewitz, living on the edge. 2021 Ram 3500 out of Mountaintop, Pennsylvania. This is the one they all want to beat here. This team here out of Northeast Pennsylvania, they have been tough for so many years in Pro Stock competition. Now, last night just barely took the win here. Carl Ankewitz, something like 0.3 of a foot separating first and second here. Austin Rubel was in that number 2 spot with his Ford. But it's another day and different track conditions here as Carl takes it over here left to center. Living on the edge. Here comes the Ram. Good run there, but got to hop it just a little bit. And just like that, the last 3-4 trucks here we've seen start to hop. And I don't think he got him. So it looks like last night's winner going to be shut out here tonight. Had to go better than 337.86. to overtake the Hercules truck. And 329.99 there for Carl Ankewitz. 329 and 99. So not going to repeat here. Right now, good enough for the number 6 spot here. As we've got Ben Schimpf coming on back here with his second truck, the Rock Diesel truck. And then we've got Jasper Pushler going to pilot the Matrix truck. And we'll send things down to Mike Idle's got Carl Ankewitz.
All right, guys, I'm down here with Carl Ankowitz. Good, strong A to B pass. You stayed on top of the turbo, came up just a freckle shy. How'd it feel?
The track's pretty tight. I think we could have adjusted our gearing a little bit, but I guess we live and we learn. Not kind of used to this track. It was a little bit better tonight than it was last night.
Hey, that's pulling. That's well said. Thanks for coming down to Georgia and pulling with us. Good luck on your 2025 season.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's back to the booth with you guys.
All right, so Carl Ankowitz telling us this track better than it was yesterday and kind of throwing a curveball to these competitors here tonight. Of course, that's just another scenario when you're working with a dirt surface. Conditions will change. Of course, they tore it, completely up, added water to it, repacked it down, and it's coming up extremely tight here this afternoon as we get ready for the Rock Diesel Dodge. No, actually, they got this Rock Diesel Chevrolet. Ben Schimpf out of Wisconsin, another Badger State puller. We saw him make a run in earlier with his other truck, the Trophy Hunter, and he's sitting currently in that number 3 spot with that truck. So let's see if he can use the second truck to his advantage here. All right, Chevrolet. Now we heard Carl Ankowitz say, maybe make a gear change. And it looks like a good run here for Ben Schimpf. 2 excellent runs with both of his trucks here. This one here, the Rock Diesel entry, 2017 Chevy. So let's see, he sits number 3 with his other truck. Let's see what the replay shows us here. So looks good right off the start here. Applies all that horsepower. 333.60. So not bad. You bring 2 trucks and currently sit number 3 and number 4 here with his 2 trucks. So 333.60 for Ben Schimpf. So there we see up on the leaderboard both of Ben's trucks, number 3, number 4, but all chasing that Hercules out of Louisiana, Chapter 11. Norm Newswanger sitting in number 2 spot with the Ford. And the Sound of Madness rounding out our top 5 currently here. As we've still got, looks like 4 more trucks left to go here. We'll have Jasper Pushler up next here with the Matrix. Austin Rubel, last night's number 2 truck. Tom Hassler with the Twisted Addiction. And then our final truck will be Beckley Stam out of Stryker, Ohio with the Frank truck. That's the old 70 Power Wagon Dodge. Now here we've got one of our Limited Pro trucks stepping up. Just like we saw the Dodge last night there, the Frank truck. As we're going to have Jasper Pushler, Chittenango, New York. That's in the central part of New York State there, just outside of Syracuse. Of course, the Pushlers run a couple tough Limited Pro trucks. So there we see Travis going to give some last minute instructions here. All right. Got a few trucks coming out of the state of New York here, coming down diesels and dark corners. Let's see what the Matrix has got for us here. Give it up a little bit in the horsepower department running this Pro Stock class. right, nice run for the Matrix truck. GMC here. 2008 GMC Sierra. As Jasper Pushler doing the driving this afternoon. And we'll see where that's going to, well, not bad at all. 314.95, 314 and 95. And we'll put him in that number 10 spot here currently. So Austin Rubel will be up next here, Shelbyville, Kentucky, with the Hookin' for a Cure truck. And we saw last night this truck finish up in that number 2 spot. As it looks like we've got Mike Idle down trackside. He's going to have a word here.
All right, guys, I'm right down here with Jasper Pushler. Young man, one of the first times he's ever driven a truck. Really smooth A to B pass, and as he gets his helmet off right here, he's going to tell us just how that felt. Jasper, nice job, young man. How'd that feel?
Yeah, it was pretty good for my first time. Definitely going to be hooked on it after this.
Hey, that's well said. Pulling is one of those things that you just, once you get it in you, you love it. How'd you enjoy Diesels and Dark Corners?
Oh, it was a great event. Awesome people here. I'm definitely going to come next year.
Thanks for pulling with us. Great job. Back to you guys in the booth.
All right, so the next generation of pullers is no doubt Jasper's hook now, and of course been going for so many years and following the team, and good to see him make a nice run here as we've got Austin Rubel, the Hookin' for a Cure Ford, backed up and ready to go here. 1993 F-250. Now this is the truck that finished up number 2. It's like 0.3 of a foot behind Carl Ankiewicz last night. Now this truck is for sale. Any of the fans listening out there might be able to, well, if you're looking for a pro stock truck, this is a good one right here. Let's see if Austin can park it in that number 1 spot. 337.86 right now. That is what you got to beat. George Straticus, he's been holding on to that number 1 spot since position number 4. And a nice run there once again, Hookin' for a Cure. And I do stress, if you want to get involved in pro stock pulling, this is a truck. It is for sale. And we have seen here this weekend can run with the best of them. Going to be close to, I would say, right around that number 2, number 3 spot here. As we see working that left side, 333.05, number 5, 333.05. So we're seeing some of the trucks last night that had the success out here. A little bit, well, not too far back in the pack here, but not up top at where they were last night. As we see Hookin' for a Cure number 5 spot currently. As last night's winner, Carl Ankiewicz, there with the Living on the Edge truck. He's back in the 8th spot here. And we've still got a couple more left to go here. So Tom Hassler out of Bethel, Pennsylvania, backs in the 2019 F-350 he calls Twisted Addiction. And then Beckley Stam will be our final competitor here out of Northwest Ohio. Oh yeah, but we got Nico coming back, our test puller with the Midnight Smoke truck. So good possibility here. We'll have 3 to go.
You know, you see that, Will? You just see what happened. It's gorgeous.
So Tom Hassler, Bethel, Pennsylvania, just west of the Philadelphia area.
You and I took nice pictures of everything out there, and you and I got thrown
That's a mean shot right there, looking right down the front nose there of the Twisted Addiction. 2019 F350. Hassler Diesel Performance. See on the side of it. Oh, he got hopping. Man, stayed after it. This is Giesels in dark corners. He wanted to go for it, but unfortunately that hop just got worse and worse as he made his way down the track here. Tom Hassler. So working that left side here, 292.90, 292.90 for Tom Hassler out of Pennsylvania. So 2 to go here as Beckley Stam will have the 70 Dodge Power Wagon, Frank. And then Nico Straticus will come out and, well, he'll try to beat Dad here. As we see the Hercules leading the way at 3:37.86. Now remember, that run came over on the right side of the track, as well as the Chapter 11. There we take a look at this very unique venue down here. White Plains, Georgia, about 2 hours east of the Atlanta area. This event has definitely put itself on the map for sure. And I know myself seeing it here for the first time, just so impressive. You take a look back in the pit area and just all the competitors that are here from all the major organizations throughout the country, and all going head to head here battling for the championships. So 292.90 for Tom Hassler with his Twisted Addiction Ford, as we will now bring the old Dodge to the start line here, the 1970 Dodge Power Wagon out of Stryker, Ohio. I said that's up there in the northwest corner, right around the Wauseon area. Good looking ride for sure. And when they purchased this truck, actually, that's pretty much the way it looked. They extended that bed out a little bit, but for the most part, they kept the patina on this truck. And, you know, a lot of guys, you know, going with that particular, you know, paint job. We've seen a couple vinyl wraps and paint jobs of that old look. So this truck, once again, doing double duty. We saw it run in this class as well as the Limited Pro class later on. So Beckley Stam out of Ohio. See, running those DOT cut tires, as we talked about, allowed to run those, you know, performance pulling cut tires. But he opts to go with the DOTs. Nice run right there. We saw Jasper Pushler with his 3.0 truck make a nice run. He was right around that 3:14 or so mark. And we'll see here what Beckley comes up with the 70 Power Wagon, they call Frank. And I was talking to him this afternoon, and I forgot to ask him where the name Frank came from. 3:13.82, just outside of our top 10 here tonight. 3:13 at 82. As we'll go back to the top of the class here with Nico Straticus with his Midnight Smoke truck. So he will be the final truck here in our 7,800-pound Pro Stock diesel truck class here tonight. So had a run of 2:49.96, kind of fought that right-hand chalk line just about the whole way down the track, so they decided to turn that run down as the test pullers come on back. So the 95 Dodge Midnight Smoke going to kind of go out here and try to beat Dad. There's Dad George out at 3:37.86 with his Hercules truck. As we see the backing in process here with the Midnight Smoke truck. Want to make sure you're lined up nice and square to the front of that sled. Get off a little bit left, a little bit right, and that sled actually will pull you that direction. And like we saw yesterday here in this class, I mean, 0.3 of a foot, not a lot, you know, separating first and second here, but looks like tonight we're just about a foot separate first, second, and third. All right, so Midnight Smoke and Nico Straticus here will be our final competitor just outside of New Orleans.
337.86 is a distance to beat in the 3-6 Pro Stock class. You know, well, I believe I had to turn that down too at 249 feet. I believe I had to turn that down as well. Let's see, but he's got it.
All right, so we got Midnight Smoke getting ready to go here. Well, we're going to bring in Ryan DeBrew with us here as we've got, we're almost ready to go semi-pulling. So we'll bring our expert in with us. There you go. So final truck here in our Pro Stock class here tonight, 7,800-pound Pro Stock. And we'll see if young Nico can bring it down the line here tonight. Ooh. Went upstairs a little bit there on the RPMs at the end of his run, but no doubt he'll take that run here. Going to be, it looks like a little bit shy of his test pull run. But two real nice runs here for, of course, that all-important time in the seat out there. As once again, we're joined here by Ryan DeBrew and Ryan out of New Franken, Wisconsin. And Ryan, you don't have the semi with you here this weekend, but you're doing something a little bit different here. Tell us about it.
Diesel Super Stock pickup. It's for my boys Marshall and Blake to run, and Marshall was not able to come down with school, and we're a little bit ahead on our work, so there's no way I'm sitting in Wisconsin when I have a chance to come down to Diesels in Dark Corners.
Now, have you been down here before, just
No.
Spectating or anything? No, this
No.
is the first time here.
I will say that it was a broken record all year. You know, hey man, if we know you're busy in fall, but if you have time, this is one of the things you need to check out. And you know, we heard it from a pile of people in that Diesel Super Stock class, and you know, this semi class that's about to come up. These are my old guys. That I
Okay,
used to
so
pull
this
against.
is
so
the
I know
group.
a lot of them.
Okay. So congratulations here. George Straticus is going to be our winner here tonight out of Louisiana at 3:37.86 with his Hercules truck. Norm Newswanger will finish up number 2 with the Chapter 11 at 3:36.17. The Trophy Hunter out of Wisconsin. Nice run there. He'll finish up number 3 and number 4 with his 2 trucks. That's Ben Schimpf. And then rounding out the top 5, Hooking for a Cure entry. And that was our number 2 truck from last night's competition. So a great class of competition here as we'll wind out the Pro Stock trucks. Austin Rubel will finish up number 5. So there's the winning run, 3:37.86 for George. And we'll see if we can get a word down trackside with him. And so you drove the Super Stock truck. We've seen your son Marshall drive it a couple times this past summer. And I was going to ask you where he was this weekend, but now is he in high school, college?
He's a junior in high school.
Junior in high school, okay. So had to stay back home. That couldn't have been I wouldn't want to be in that conversation there.
No, it's the opposite.
Oh, okay.
I heard words I never thought I'd ever hear.
Oh.
I want to stay back. I can't believe it.
Really?
It's the end
Okay.
of the quarter.
Okay.
He's got an internship program for
Oh,
work, and they've
okay.
got to keep that grade at a certain level. So.
I gotcha.
But yeah, everything's foreign this weekend. I never heard him say that. I never drove this truck before. I never been to this Georgia red clay. It's like pulling on a gym floor.
Well, everybody tells us it's one of the best tracks that they've
Yeah.
pulled on. What is your observation of this track here this weekend?
Well, it'll handle a ton of power, but it handles so much power that it might throw you off your game. You don't know exactly what to do for setup. With the semi-class coming up, there's a tipping point. So the rear axle's got to be locked out. Can't move. And that front axle you're allowed to push down. And things, you can teeter a truck and you can go over that line.
Okay.
And start losing distance or possibly damage a driveline. That pulling on 4 tires is not the same as pulling on 8 tires.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Once again, Dan Mayer joined here in the Full Pull Live studio with Ryan DeBrew, and Ryan out of New Franken, Wisconsin. It's just outside of Green Bay. So
yeah.
you're a Packer fan, obviously, right?
Grandpa's a season ticket holder
Is he?
before Lambeau Field was built.
Wow, there you go. There
So-
you go. And they played in what was the some
City Stadium?
Cities. Okay, that's
Yep,
what it was.
East High
Yep.
School plays there now.
So yeah, that.
A lot of legacy with that stadium.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And Packers so this year, not too bad.
The NFC's doing really good. That's a tough group. So we'll see how tomorrow goes.
Yeah, we're too, tough being a Buffalo Bill fan. We actually not a bad season so far. But let's talk about your run in the super stock truck here.
Just I thought I had one more truck between me and I had more time to get started. And
Oh, okay.
All of a sudden I didn't realize somebody dropped for mechanical and had to fire up the computer, had to fire up everything. It just once you get off your rhythm,
Yeah, right.
being calm and everything else, and
Probably you jump in the playing with fire. It's just like just
I know it.
night
Yeah,
is day.
yeah.
You
Yep.
just kind of jump in there and flip
Yep.
everything on. And
Switches are in different spots, and so got the truck fired up. But we do have a little of a glitch with our transmission right now. We can't get in reverse.
oh, okay.
So there's an update for it. We're going to get that taken care of in the off season. But I didn't take it apart yet, just because I knew there was a
Okay.
5% chance I was coming down to Georgia.
Okay.
So we kept that in line. Got out on the track. The sled had to come get me, and it's a different feel. Semis, that's a power deal.
Mm-hmm.
Diesel super stock, that's a driver's class, and until you've gone through trying to drive it and learn it and feel it and what you're feeling for, you're always learning, but you're just a spectator trying to figure out what's going on at that time. So went down the track. It didn't bounce. That's what I was worried about coming off the line.
Right.
If I was going to get that truck to start bouncing, because those tires can grab that Georgia clay so good. That was my biggest worry. So I came out a little hotter than I wanted to, but I wanted to make sure that
You were
didn't
able
start
to
bouncing.
get right.
Can't learn nothing if you don't get past the 100-foot mark. So.
Right. So you made your run. What did you think? I mean, are you hooked now, or is it you're like, man, this is a new challenge kind of thing, or is this how's it where it hasn't settled in yet?
Yeah, I'm going to say it hasn't settled in yet.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun, and I'll love to take more opportunities to drive it, but I know my days are going to be limited. Marshall's the oldest at 16. He's going to be 17 at Christmas, and Blake is beyond.
He's ready
interested
too,
and
huh?
ready to go.
Oh, there you go.
So
now,
I
is
know-
he with you this weekend?
Yep,
or
he
okay,
is, he
okay.
is. A little bit of a conversation of whether who was gonna drive, but just with that, how sticky that clay is, and I don't want that truck to start bouncing.
Right.
And I don't want to also start off this whole endeavor with him in the wrong foot.
Right.
So
Right.
I did promise him, though, we're going to unload this thing on Monday, and we're going to burn up the soybean field behind the shop. That way he gets to feel that clutch
Okay.
and all that stuff.
So what do? You go out and hook to a tree or a piece of equipment? How
I'm
do
just
you?
going to let him do some burnouts for right now.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm going to let him get the R's up.
Just
the biggest thing
kinda-
is so he can feel what that clutch is about.
Okay.
And to make sure that you have the strength to let it out at your schedule.
Okay.
So
So just kind of go out there and make
Yeah.
some burnouts with it. And,
yep. And then I don't know. I'm not going to hook anything piece of equipment to it because I just don't feel like paying for any windows.
Yeah.
So, but I'm gonna let him feel that clutch and get used to the sound, the shaking, the rumble, everything, just so he knows about what's going on. You know, Marshall started off at Bowling Green. You know,
Right.
That
Oh, yeah.
small pull that we have in August.
Yeah.
Hardly
And,
anybody in the stands watching it.
I felt for the poor young man. I mean, in front of that stage, you know, and his first time ever, but he did a great job. I
Yeah.
mean, really, we talk about, I mean,
Well, you know, we worked for 2 weeks straight to finish it up, and he's like, I don't know if I want to go in front of everybody, and I understand that, but he kept
Yeah.
working, and he's like, well, what are you doing? I said, well, if you're not, I am. Someone's going to take us because we got to get started for next year. And you know, he didn't get off the line. We had a problem with our clutch,
Right.
And I do want to take a second to talk about that in a minute here, but it was important because he got a chance to learn about what's it like when it's not going right.
right.
So there's still value in that, and that clutch was engaging way too early, even though he had his foot all the way down. None of his fault. We had the wrong piece of equipment in there, as far as clutch and slave cylinders, and some air in the system, and it was just engaging, and like, man, I told you to hold that in, you know, until you're ready. We got back to the pits, and where the pedal goes down, there's a bolt on the ground. He imprinted the bolt into the pedal.
So he did what you told
his
him.
half as he told me he did.
Now, if I remember right, wasn't there a bunch of the other competitors
Well, that's what I was
jumped
just
in?
gonna get
I
to.
was going to say, yeah, I remember you telling me.
This is an awesome class. This class has been friends of our family and our team for as long as we've been involved with it. And when we were going to get into another vehicle, there was no doubt on what we were going to do. So we got off the track. Event was over. 2 people stopped by. Well, Mark Mangman and Larry Profab. And they checked it out, and they're like, hey, you got the wrong master cylinder, and you got some air in your slave cylinder. Profab had one in his truck, or in his trailer, brought it over. The Cummins Killer team, they're like, we have what you need. They brought the other part over, and without even talking, Don from Top Shelf, they were over, and Don helped Marshall change it. All I did was get wrenches. Marshall learned a lot. You know, and Don got to help out, and they're all friends of ours. Our kids are all friends, but how cool is that?
Absolutely, yeah.
What that stands for something. That's so awesome. And at the end, when we put all the tools away, competitor number 4 and number 5 showed up to make sure that we were fixed for the next day. Nobody wants to fight you on the trailer, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Everyone wants to earn it on the track.
See, I come from the dirt track world, the dirt track stock car world, and I talked about that last night. You know, one night, you know, you're buddies with somebody. The next weekend, you go out and beat them. They don't talk to you that next week, you know, but not in pulling. You don't see that in pulling. I mean, it's a totally different world, and I've seen that, you know, throughout the years. Just everybody gets along, and until you hook to that sled, and everybody for themselves. But then everybody's, you know, after the pull, they're, you know, right back at it.
But this family deal, that's part of what makes us what it is. This is what's fun. You know, do we need to go drive across America? No. Do we need to invest what we have invested? No. But you have to do something.
Right.
And
right.
And when you can do this with this kind of a group of people, and for us it involves our family.
Well, that's what
this is so awesome.
So many people had said that, you know, there's no better way to raise your family than around the pulling family.
Yep.
You know, and we've seen that, you know, generations after generation.
Yep.
You know, and he came out Saturday night, the truck was fixed.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was standing there, we were doing, you know, winner's circle interviews, and saw him make the run, and it was like, they got it. You know, they made a great pass, and you know, and then you guys you ran down at the Scheid event. Did you run any other events?
We were over at Sandwich, so we did Sandwich, Scheid, and then Bowling Green, and then here. So it was 5 times down the track so far. Going to be 6. So yeah, we're definitely learning, but having a lot of fun. It's just an awesome environment. Blake's getting, like I said, my middle son, he's super excited about it. But there's no way I'm going to get my youngest. You know where I'm going.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way I'm going to get my youngest in this truck. When we were picking it out, he didn't care what color it was. He didn't care about the design. He didn't care about nothing. I'm pulling a tractor. I'm pulling a tractor.
Oh, he wants a tractor.
Chase wants a tractor.
I thought you were going down the road where he didn't have any interest in pulling, but he wants tractors. Okay.
So Chase is 12 years old and zero desire for the semi, or he's going to get a tractor. And
Well,
this
you're gonna have a bunch of different.
Wait till you hear this. This is about a year and a half ago. We're driving down the road. He's in the back seat. Like, Dad, how much is a pulling truck or tractor? And I'm like, well, at least $100,000. I'm like, well, wait a second. What class are you talking? Local or 4-1s? What are you talking? There's all kinds of tractor classes. He's friends with Lustics, and I didn't know where he was going from. And well, Dad, a pro stock, obviously. I'm like, a pro stock. I'm like, man, I don't know, bud. I said, and this is before this last wave of tractors came out, and I'm like, maybe you're going to get lucky to find one for $500,000.
Yeah.
And I think I told him 400, and he didn't say nothing. We're driving down the road, I kind of forgot about it. And he's like, well, Dad, it's so many, 300 and some days, or he told me 900 and some days till he can drive. I'm like, okay. And he's like, Dad, it's about $260 a day. And I was super impressed. He did the math.
Yes.
Okay. Without being prodded or nothing, and just laughing, and I'm like, yeah, Chase. I said, but the only real glitch is that yesterday you didn't earn $260, and so far today we're not headed for it. So
you're already behind on the payment schedule. Yeah.
So then it's like, all right. So then a month later, he's cutting the grass, and my grandpa used to pay him to cut the grass there. My grandpa's passed away, and Steve lives there, and he gets paid from Steve for that, and he's like, runs up to me, and he's like, maybe I can earn it this way. And earn it's the important part of that sentence.
Yes.
And then his little shoulders just dropped, and he's like, now I only have to figure out how to be 611 years old. and I said, Chase, I said, that's right, bud. But I said, if you do 2 lawns, you cut it in half. That's right. And
there you go.
Earning it is the important part of that sentence.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a big deal.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how that'll all as you go along here.
I don't know how that's going to go. But
now, what about the playing with fire? Are you gonna keep that going, or are you gonna?
Yep. So playing with fire is this off season here. We're gonna redo the engine. We had some durability issues for sure. We have that answered.
Oh, you did? Okay, so that's.
Well, we couldn't get it done in season.
Okay.
And in season's just tough.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're fixing, it's hard to do the next idea when you're just fixing to get ready to go for that next weekend again. So playing with fire is gonna be all dressed up and ready to rock and roll for spring. Hopefully hopefully we're gonna make it into the truck show this winter. And we're headed on the right track with that. Not a lot of people have used this style of engine.
Okay.
It's a CAT engine. It's an electronic engine, and it's awesome. But we just gotta get some durability issues.
There you go. Well, we're backing in our first of our. These are our 4-1 semi.
Yep.
They call them the Pro Street semis. Now, do they weigh in at 20,000 pounds?
They do.
They do. Okay,
Yep.
So we're at 20,000 pounds, like we'd see a hot rod semi, but that 4-1 Charger on them.
Yep.
And now how do they differ as far as like some of the other 4-1 classes we've seen with the semis? Now, some of the competitors were telling me, the Pro Street part of it is where it gets a little tricky.
I think 4-1s are 4-1s. There's a bunch of 3-6s out there.
Okay.
That's a different class. The 3-6s are possible to drive to the event.
Okay, so maybe that's what some of them. Okay. So this is Dale Malinzak. They call him Hot Dog. He's out of Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Calls his truck Big Mo. This is a 2004 International Eagle. Going to be our test puller here.
We're pulling on the opposite side of the track today.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we saw that in the first class. They started working over there. Then this last class, just about everybody went over to the left side, and they said over here on the left side it's real tight. So this was our number 2 truck last night. All right, so test puller here. Looks like a good run down the left side. Now, Ryan, when you started pulling semis, you said this is like more or less the group you started with, just around locally in Wisconsin, or?
Yeah, he's Lee Provichuk's actually going to be coming up later on, and it was Lee and I for Badger State, or well, actually for NEW, and then we ended up moving up to the Badger State and Crazy KW. You've seen them, that black.
Oh yeah, yep.
Chris and Chris. So yeah, I started with Lee 4-1 class. So we did the basically Wisconsin, Northeast Wisconsin stuff.
All right, so 3:26:23 here is our test puller, and I'd imagine he'd probably take that run. Looked like a pretty good run down the left side here.
They did give these guys a little bit more hitch from last night, so they did raise the hitch up like 1.5 inches.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know what the reasoning behind it, but that should really help them carry that front end.
All right, we'll send things down trackside here with Mike Geidel. He's going to have a word here with Hot Dog.
Okay, folks, we're down here in front of this beautiful big rig at Dale Malinzak, right down Broadway, torquing that frame. Beautiful run. Tell us about it.
It was a great run, 326 feet. I'm hoping it holds up for us. Hopefully we got a first place tonight.
I know you had a good run last night. They just said $500 to the best performer of the 2 evenings, 326. Excellent job. Anyone you need to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank my crew. Jimmy and Victor to run the hauler, my crew to shop, Matt that cleans the truck, Charlie Brown. Without the crew at home, we couldn't do this. Without the guys on the team, we couldn't do it.
Absolutely well said. Dale Malinzak, great run. Back to you guys in the booth.
All right, so that answers our question there. He's going to take that run here, as we should have we've got the Green Hornet up next here. So we're supposed to have the Scrapper up next. And now the Scrapper truck, if I remember right, had some issues last night getting off the start line there. And maybe not able to come back here this afternoon. So we're going to move ahead here, Tollsboro, Kentucky. This is Daryl Fannin with the Green Hornet truck, 2017 Peterbilt 389. And I know he drove this truck because he's parked at the hotel I'm at.
So you can watch that front drive axle, and we'll see how far he chooses to push it down. And we'll see how if they go too far, or if they have enough traction to hang that front end up in the air.
So can make that adjustment?
They'll have to decide that before they get out on the track. So like limit jacks or big threaded rods.
All right, so the Green Hornet here going to come up a little bit short. Daryl Fannin out of Tollsboro, Kentucky, our second truck here in our 4-1 Hot Street Semi-Class. So we'll see here what the Green Hornet comes up here this afternoon. So the Big Bo leading the way here at 326 and 23.
I have to give you guys a compliment for
Well, the winner of that cooler is Jackson Black, Alberton, Georgia. Where are you at, sir? Right over there, all right, we got your address. We're going to ship it to you. Congratulations. Wow.
All right, so we see Ronnie Hall parked over here on the left side of the track.
Give your wife or girlfriend for Christmas.
Greenfield, Ohio. See if it can make it work here tonight. 2006 Chevrolet.
Appreciate it right there. All right. Let's go to the track, see what's happening down there at Ronnie Hall with the Hall fans.
All right, Duramax sounded good, but as he finished up in that number 3 spot in our field of 12 tractors. 100-pound final count. out of. So there we take a look at afternoon. Advantage. Scales before they make their way. International 1066. No name on this one as well. As we said earlier, this tractor number 3 last night in session number 1. Just about 3 feet short of taking the big win here. Going back to the well here, as you can see, he's going to spot that sled over here a little bit right of center. So all 3 of the competitors we've seen so far in this class have all kind of moved that sled at different locations, started from a different spot. Every puller has that option where you put that sled on the start line. Those behind the sled, they'll put that sled all the way to the right, all the way to the left. Now last night, we saw him working the extreme right side, seemed to be the hot place out there. A lot of the pullers were telling us the left side was a little bit on the soft side. But they have reworked this track up, added a bunch of water to it, repacked it down, ready to go here this afternoon. Oh, good run right there. Joe Christopher, this is going to be close here. Now that John Deere of Tristan Ellington went 3:18.78. He's our current leader, the Lucky Buck tractor out of Kentucky. And we have a tie situation right now, 3:18.78 for Joe Christopher.